Hi everybody, Ben here. In this video I'm going to give you an overview of V-Ray rendering within Claire.io. So I've got a simple scene here, a bunny and a background plane. And if you want to render this, just click in to this button here, Cloud Render, and then select Fast Preview if you want progressive render. It then will automatically set up V-Ray for you, including the V-Ray render and also the default pass. It also noticed that I had no lights in the scene, so it created a default 3-point lighting setup. Now, what happens here is it's created a camera, and in this viewport here, I'm not using that camera. So I'm going to switch over to the camera the renderer is using. And now when I make my movements here, they will update automatically in the other viewport. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get rid of these the 3-point lighting setup. It's sort of ugly. So what we're going to do is instead, we're going to use the V-Ray area light. We're just going to take that area light, we're going to move it up, and then we're going to move it forward a little bit. There we go. We're going to turn it. And then we're going to set the intensity a bit higher. Let's try something like 10. 10 works. Okay. So we'll zoom back in and we'll hide this light so that we don't see it in the viewport. Okay, so there we have a very simple lighting setup. The soft shadow from the area light is much more visually attractive. So the other part, so besides the progressive rendering, we've integrated all of V-Ray's materials, or nearly all of them. So what we can do is we can pick V-Ray standard. And if you have the bunny selected, it automatically applies to the bunny. We can then from that set up emissive lighting. We can set up reflective lighting. We can make it transparent or refractive. We can make it sort of a ward, which is more of a metallic type rendering, and we can change its opacity. It has all the V-Ray material settings that you've come to expect. We also have other standard V-Ray materials that we have, as we have car paint, we have bump, and we have subsurface scattering, both the standard and the SS2 complex. But many times you're in a rush. Say you're setting up an architectural scene for rendering. You don't want to be tweaking every single material and finding texture maps for them. For those situations, we created the material browser. And in creating this, we partnered with EntresD and Flying Architecture to get to make those viz maps available to you. So using the material browser is quite simple. You just can either visually just keep scrolling through all the materials, or you can type in search queries and it automatically filters to the textures that have that. You can use the tags on the side to refine further. So let's make a wood. So we're just set this to the bunny, and you can see right away it updates, and with our live progressive preview you can see what it looks like. So a simple wood texture works. We can pick a glass or a diamond. So here's a diamond texture. This one takes a bit of time to refine because it's now doing the refractions through the bunny. We can pick a car paint. We have quite a few different car paints. This one is quite stark. We have nice, we can see the nice flakes in the texture there. And there's lots of metals to choose from as well. So we can make a sort of a gold bunny. So that's our material browser. And I'll let you explore the 1,000 materials that we have in there. The other features that we have are things like dome lighting. So I can just click on dome light here, and it creates a hemisphere light. And that gives you a lot of sort of an environmental presence or ambient light that's very realistic. Let's change it a bit from the blue to a lighter blue here, so it's not too harsh. Okay, let's take out our area light. Many times when you're doing architectural rendering, you'll actually have fluorescent lights or light bulbs already in the scene. Now you could take each of those and try and fit an area light to that. But another approach that you can do is you can just find that object in your scene. Say if it's a fluorescent light, it could be something like a rectangle or a box. Such as, here's a box. And let's just move it over to the side and rotate it. Well, this could be your fluorescent light. To turn it into a light, it's as simple as selecting that object and then selecting the mesh light button. This turns it into a V-Ray mesh light right away. And so now we're using a mesh light. Again, very easy to set up, and if you want to just see the effect of that, we can turn off our dome light just there, and now we're just seeing that one mesh light lighting your scene. One thing that happens is if you start getting a very complex scene, you can start getting millions of polygons and vertices in that scene. That can get slow on the web browser. So what we've done is we've created a proxy system within V-Ray so that you can click any mesh, you can convert it to a proxy. You come down here to convert to, and you pick proxy bin mesh. What this does is it converts it to a box in the viewport, but it actually leaves the full resolution mesh in V-Ray so that when you're rendering, you see the full details. So once we have this, we can start replicating this. And you'll notice it's now blue in the viewport, so we can clone this a few times. And let's move these out of the way. One here, and we'll move the other one over here. So now we have 3 bunnies. We can select these 3, and we can clone them again. And we're going to use copy cloning. And let me select those 3, and we'll move them back a bit. We can select all of them again. We can clone them again. So now we're going to have 12 bunnies. We'll zoom out a bit, and then move these forward. Once you do the clone, you'll automatically be selecting the new objects, the ones you cloned. So there we go, and leaving them selected, we can then assign different materials to the different groups of bunnies. So we can make some made of tiles. We can make some others. We can maybe make these. I don't know. We can make some glass. We can make some others emissive. I think light might do it. Glow. No. Light. There we go. So we can make some lights. And there we go. So now we've got bin mesh proxies, mesh lights, a mist of materials with a fairly high polygon count. And this way you can achieve polygon counts upwards of 10 million using bin proxy meshes. And with all these materials, you can create a quite nice scene. So I've been using the progressive rendering, but if you want to do high quality rendering, just come here and click standard. Or if you don't want to see it actually render, you can click on render and you can go render current pass. That will start up a render on our servers to the size that you've set inside your pass. So down here, you can set your pass sizes. And it will email you once it is complete. In this case, I'm doing a bucket render the size of the viewport here with high quality settings. We've exposed nearly all V-Ray features. And those are available either through creating objects in the scene or on the V-Ray renderer itself. So you can control your whether you have caustics, your environment maps for reflecting, reflect, and your global illumination. You can even control your image sampling, the color mapping such as gamma, and whether it's going to be clamped. And you can also change the iterations for your live rendering. So the other thing that we've done with this latest V-Ray release is we've made it possible to embed your scenes in web pages. And that's easy to do. So all you do to see how to do it is you come here to View. Now, View is your scene in our galleries. And here's the last thumbnail that rendered. It'll update to the latest thumbnail soon. But what you can do is you can click on this photorealistic tab. And as soon as you do this, it will connect to our servers and automatically start streaming that V-Ray render to you. And so you can now embed these in your web page to show off your renders as live renders rather than just static images. If you want to get that embed code, all you do is you click embed here and you say you want to have it as the V-Ray rendering type rather than WebGL. And then you can either take this URL here and pass it around, or use the embed code here and put it into your web page that way. You can adjust the background colors and sizes here. So that's it for this update of V-Ray. Thanks for your time.